Watch the house with broken glass. Red ties, blue lights, same old mass. Tories trading truth for gold. Label folded, stories sold. They made their millions, made us pay. Gaslit nights, cost of living days. Hands in pockets, hands in bribes. While we bury dreams and scrape to survive. We see your rules for the rich. Your friends, your deals, your offshore ships. We ain't blind, we've had enough. You lit the match, now feel the rush. The people rise. The truth.
Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Truth Coalition. We're now into double figures, guys. I'm Jay Hurst and my co-host is
Jason Smith.
Yeah, welcome, guys. It's been a busy week in politics with a new reshuffle, and we're going to chat about all of that and much more. Jason, take us away, mate.
Well, yeah, a busy week in politics. Today, I really want to discuss the reshuffle, Angela Rayner's swift exit from Parliament, and there's a few things going on around the world that are setting off a few alarm bells. So I would say let's get on to the topic at home first. As we know, Angela Rayner's gone. Ding dong, the witch is gone. Right?
He's did some great memes this week as well, hasn't he?
I mean, I was quite confused by how quick she exited Parliament, how quick she dropped that role as deputy PM, but all because of a £40,000 tax mistake. I don't buy it. I think there was something more involved there, and I think something will probably come out of the woodwork sooner or later of why she had to make a swift exit. But yeah, Starmer's had a little think, and he's readdressed his cabinet. He had a little reshuffle, and he thought, I know what I put in place. The hard left that don't care about England. So yeah. I'm going to go through a few of the names that he's put in charge. Number 1, Deputy PM and Justice Secretary, David Lammy. This guy is the most confused person I've ever seen give an interview. He's just the guy goes out and he spends 50 grand a day on plane tickets and champagne. You know, he accepts bribes off of terrorist organisations and other political parties we're not supposed to be taking money off. He takes money off them, and he's been caught doing it, but still he's managed to make it as Deputy PM and Justice Secretary of all the things in the world. Right? He comes out and he told everyone in the news that if you hold a St. George's flag, then you're a neo-Nazi. He also called Donald Trump the head of the KKK, and if Donald Trump lands on our streets, he's going to go out and protest against him. So, well done, Starmer. Good pick for our relations with America. Next, we got, who's moved over to Foreign Secretary, who David Lammy used to be, Yvette Cooper.
Yeah.
Yvette Cooper. Like, I don't really know what to say about this woman. This woman tried to push to lower the age of sex in our youth.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to say about her. To me, she shouldn't be there. She's rubbish at the job. And I just don't trust her when someone comes out and tries to push through a bit of legislation like that. I don't really trust them, you know. And the big one, which is the big news across the UK, is our first Muslim MP, Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood.
You couldn't write it, could you?
She is a hard lefty, a massive pro-Palestine supporter. I mean, she's gone on protest. She's handcuffed herself to gates. This woman's now in charge of our border. Oh man, like, what the hell was this country doing? When they swore her in, she kissed the Quran in Parliament rather than the Bible. She openly said that she had put her religion before any politics. It's just not something that this country should be accepting. If you're going to be a member of Parliament in this country, you should be from this country. You should be supporting this country. Anyway, well, there's 3 of them, Jay. So let's crack on with 3 of them. What do you think of David Lammy?
I'll try and tone this down. I think the bloke is an absolute knob, and that is me being as polite and as calm. I could use more severe words, but, you know, I'm not going to. I think people understand what we mean. The guy he's as thick as two short planks. He reminds me, he's the male version of Diane Abbott, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's the male version of Diane. I mean, she is thick as pig shit. And he was just, and it's nothing to do with it. Obviously, they're both the same colour skin. It's nothing to do with the race thing. It's just the fact that they are both thick as pig shit. And he's just a male version of her. What gets me is he's so out of touch with reality. I mean, he is so out of touch with reality. It's unbelievable. And this guy is now our deputy PM. So, hypothetically speaking, if Keir Starmer was to be ousted, okay, this fella would step up without an election. Let's say Starmer's out the job in the next 12 months. We're going to have David Lammy as our PM for a minimum of 2 years. That just, I mean, it comes down to the devil you know, I suppose. I mean, at least we all know that Starmer's a bastard. So, you know, let's keep him there until we get rid of Labour full stop, because we'd be getting rid of one bastard for another bastard. Except, I think the fact he's so thick, he's probably even more dangerous because he's so out of touch with reality.
I mean, they're all just the cartoon characters to me. They're so bad that you couldn't even begin to imagine what it would be like if Lammy took over. The guy's an absolute joke.
Yeah,
he is an absolute joke.
Yeah,
but can you get any worse than Starmer? I don't even know. I don't even know if you can get any worse than him.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to get some facts about the guy. I mean, he's 53-year-old, so he's roughly my age. And the fact that we've had all this controversy with Starmer and Lammy over the last few months, the fact that Starmer's actually put him in there as PM, I mean, did he not think there was going to be some kind of a backlash? And I mean, people are really, really questioning this appointment. It's almost like jobs for the boys kind of thing, you know. All right, he's been through the ranks, you know. He's been Chancellor, he's been, you know, he's been Secretary of State for Justice and all that kind of stuff. But to be the actual Deputy Prime Minister, I mean, basically now we've just handed him this. He's now the second most powerful person in the UK. And the current most powerful person in the UK is making absolute balls of the job. An absolute balls of it.
Starmer, he's not only upset the whole of the country. Now his own party are turning on him. There's hundreds of Labour MPs now are turning on him because he didn't discuss this with anyone.
No,
he just elected them.
Yeah.
This is who's going to be here. This is going to be here. This is going to be here. And he's picked hard lefts. And I don't know who he's trying to appeal to. Is it a hard left? But what he's done is man, I just don't even know. I just don't even know where he gets these ideas from. Like, has anyone told him to do this, or has he come up with it by himself? You know what I mean?
I think it looks to me like it's been orchestrated and planned for quite a while. I mean, this thing with Angela Rayner, with this non-payment of tax, hasn't just happened in the last few months. This happened a long, long time ago. So the PM and other people in Labour have been sitting on this information for a long time. And all of a sudden, it's released to the press. She's gone within a few days. It all looks very, very orchestrated to me. Very orchestrated. And we all know the link between Lammy and Starmer. I know there's all these memes going around, so they're supposed to be in a relationship. I don't believe any of that, but it was fun while it lasted. But the fact that these two are thick as thieves just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It just looks very orchestrated. I mean, Angela Rayner, she had to go. She had to leave a job for what she's done. But come on, what this Prime Minister is currently doing to the country is far worse than what this woman done. Okay? I mean, at the end of the day, she could have just said, listen, I've made a mistake. I have to pay some tax. Pay the tax. Pay it. Give it some time to settle down. And then resign. But she's gone under this massive cloud, and while she's gone under this big cloud and everyone's focusing on her, they've just shuffled in David Lammy, and it all just seems very orchestrated to me. Very, very orchestrated, like pre-planned months and months and months and months ago. And I'd like to know, where did the press get the information from? Because this information about her not paying this tax, it is, like I say, this happened quite a while ago. So that was released, and bang, within a few days, she's gone. There's something smells about this whole thing, and it stinks rotten.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, after everything we've seen this Labour government go through, they get Angela Rayner steps down over a 40 grand tax bill. I know that they said before that if you don't pay your tax as a politician, you don't deserve the job. So that statement kind of shot her in the foot anyway. But to me, it just rings that there's something else here that we don't know about. They're putting up this smoke screen over a £40,000 tax bill to hide something else.
Yeah.
Because after all the mistakes, I'm not being funny, but Rachel Reeves has put us in a £50 million black hole, a £51 billion black hole.
Yeah.
That's something you get rid of somebody for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She would have been gone if there was an issue. She would have been gone.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, Angela Rayner, if push come to shove, could just go to the bank, take out 40 grand and go, there you go, there's my tax paid. She's not short of a few quid, okay? 40 grand is nothing to somebody like her. And you're right, yeah, she could do that. All right, she's still committed the crime, but it could have all been dressed up a little bit different. But like you say, you got Rachel Reeves, who 51 billion black hole, mind-boggling numbers. I mean, what that money could do for the country. It would fix the NHS. It would fix the train services. It would put more police in the police forces. What it would do for the country is astronomical. 40 grand is nothing. Obviously, to people like me and you, it is, of course, but we're talking about on the grand scale of a country here. We're one of the wealthiest countries in the world, by the way, as small as the UK is. And 51 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah.
To just disappear.
Yeah.
And then to top it all, while we're all sitting there thinking, oh, well, it can't get any worse, what do? They put Mrs. Mahmood in charge as Home Secretary. So she basically controls our borders. This is a Muslim lady who controls our borders. So we've got Rachel Reeves, who made the statement about bringing down the age of sexual consent of children to 13.
Yvette Cooper.
We now have a Muslim Home Secretary who can now just let the borders wide open and let in lots and lots of people who believe marrying 9-year-old children is normal. One goes hand in hand. It's a very, very scary time for me. Everyone seems to have had the wool pull over their eyes, but we've got to look at this in its entirety. We've got a lady who wants to bring the sexual age down. We've got a lady who now controls the borders, who is a Muslim lady.
It's I mean, every person he's picked is something that you don't want in charge. I mean, Darren Jones, he's on his cabinet. Darren Jones, the man who sat on Question Time and said all the people coming in boats are women and children. There ain't no men.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of a fool says that, knowing that there's people out there who watch the news? You know what I mean? It's just Chief Whip Jonathan Reynolds.
Yeah.
The guy who said that he was a solicitor and he was completely lying. He's not a solicitor whatsoever.
I mean, the only thing we're missing is if Jimmy Savile was still alive, he'd been in charge of children's services. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, he's putting people in jobs who they're just going to absolutely... I mean, the country is on its knees, but there's a way back for the country. But now he's put these people in charge. I just think that things are going to get so much worse. And it's almost like he's put this protective shield around him now. That's what it feels like. Starmer's put this protective shield around him because there's not been a lot of chit-chat about Starmer over the last week. It all seems to be about David Lammy, Rachel Reeves, and how do we pronounce her name? Shabana Mahmood. It's ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous. And like you say, there wasn't a vote of this in Parliament. You know, he's just gone and he's done this. I mean, I don't know what the rules are regarding the PM, but I thought everything that they did, you know, any major post of office would have to have some kind of signing off by the party. You know, some kind of a discussion in Parliament. But it was just, I mean, it was done. I mean, it was within 24 hours, wasn't it? Rayner went the next day, Lammy's in, Mahmood's in, and Reeves is in. And
I doubt Starmer even mentioned it to anyone. He just made the decision and went with it like he always does. And this is why you see now that Jeremy Corbyn's kicking off, you know, and a lot of Labour MPs are starting to move over towards his side. I would say in the future you're looking at people going over to Corbyn's party, or they're going to be going over to Reform, because Starmer, his days are numbered. You know, he's already out. Whether he likes it or not, he can try and protect himself as much as he wants, but his days are numbered. He's already out. It's over for him.
Do you think this is the end of the Labour Party once they eventually get voted? That's it done.
Yeah.
They'll never get in power again.
Never ever. He is absolutely destroyed the Labour Party. He isn't controlling this Labour Party for what it's meant to stand for. It's meant to be for the working class. It's meant to be for the citizens of the UK and help them. But he's turned it into a political liberal kind of left-wing party that's against the white working class. It's against the natives, and it's against our British heritage. He's absolutely destroyed the whole of the United Kingdom. You have to remember that the last party in, the Tories that are in, they made a pig's ear of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were in for 8 years, was it 11 years, something like that. They were in for a long time. And yeah, they made a pig's ear and everybody was fed up with it. But Keir Starmer's managed to outdo them in a year.
In 1 year.
If we let him, if he stays in power for the full term, I can't even imagine how bad it will be. We'll get to the point of no return.
Yeah. But we said this the other week, didn't we? I mean, I always tend to find that these kind of people, I mean, why would you want to be the Prime Minister of a country? You've got an ego. You've got to be some kind of a narcissist. You've got to have a fucking ego the size of, you know, your ego's got to be huge. You've got to care about legacy. But it's almost like he doesn't care about his legacy. He doesn't care what people think. He doesn't care what people think about him while he's in the job. And he clearly won't care about people, what they think when he's out of a job. So this guy just seems to have no morals. He doesn't care. Doesn't care what you or I think or the rest of the country think. He does not care. And I find that quite astonishing, because Maggie always said, I mean, I remember one of Maggie's, I've seen it on the internet. She made a statement one day and she said she wanted to be remembered for, you know, doing great things for Great Britain. You know, well, Maggie did do some great things for Great Britain. And she also did some bad things as well. But you look back on it, Maggie Thatcher did some wonderful things. And one thing's for certain, she would not have allowed all this immigration to be going on. She wouldn't have allowed people to be put in jail for saying a few. I mean, there was one the other day, someone was arrested for calling somebody a muppet. A muppet. I mean, these are the things that, no, mate, it's laughable.
It's just hilarious.
It's laughable. I mean, it's crazy, but we wouldn't have seen these kind of things. I mean, even under Boris, we wouldn't have seen someone arrested under Boris for calling someone a muppet. I mean, there was no bigger muppet than Boris, you know. But when you look at over the last few years, the stick he got, God, we could do with him now.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's hard times, man. You know you're calling on the hard times when you miss Boris Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, Boris he didn't come across, I don't think he's a vindictive person. I mean, we've all seen him now on TV. He's grown a beard and everything. We've seen him when he used to play in the charity football games, and he was, you know, parasailing down the bridge, abseiling down the bridge, wasn't he, at the Olympics and all that kind of, the fun guy, the fun Boris. He's actually a nice guy, and I don't believe that he's actually a really nasty person. But Keir Starmer just comes across as an evil, vindictive bastard. He does.
I always say to people, like as a joke, that Keir Starmer's got the brain of Boris Johnson's face, because you know Keir Starmer, you just can't make it up what he's like. You can't trying to express it to people that are not from the UK of what the UK are going through. They can't fathom the fact that we're getting prosecuted and persecuted for hanging our flag, or for saying that we want better things for our country. And you can't explain it to people without them completely losing their mind. Like, what do you mean? You know, because most countries they just don't understand that being patriotic is a part of your country. And Keir Starmer should know this. You know, you shouldn't be getting arrested for tweets. You shouldn't be scared every time you post a video. You know, well, we release this YouTube channel, and I'm looking over my shoulder every day. You know what I mean? Because we want to tell the truth, and you get in trouble over it for telling the truth. I mean, we're going to end up in a similar situation to what's going on all over Europe at the moment. Well, actually, all over the world. I mean, what was it, yesterday, the day before? No, yesterday was it? The French Prime Minister, no confidence, voted out because of people kicking off in the street because of immigration.
Yeah,
you know, the riots were so big that he got voted out, no confidence. And the first thing I've done was put a bit of content out there saying TikTok Starmer, because this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning, Nepal, anti-corruption in the government. They tried to ban social media. 15 people dead. PM gone. Resign now. It's all over. The population have spoken. Done the same thing again. TikTok, Starmer, because this is what you're pushing us. This is what you're pushing the country into.
And this is what it needs.
Every day.
It's what it needs. I mean, the people of the UK now just look at France, look at Nepal, and just look at it and just go, it's easy, really. It's an easy solution.
It's going to be. It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
When one country does it and they start winning, it ain't going to be long before all of them start doing it. You know, and Starmer, you either step up and do something now, or step down and let somebody step in who will. Because all we see at the moment are riots, protests, unease, depression, and just general unfairness of the UK citizens.
Yeah, and it seems to be every single day we're hearing a news story of somebody locked up for the most trivial thing. I mean, you know, we mentioned it last week. There was that woman. She's about 4'8". You know, barged down the stairs by about 7 police officers, literally manhandled. You know, because she was draping a flag over a building. I mean, okay, if that's the case, and they want to make that a criminal offence, you just say to the lady, "Take that flag down, and we're going to arrest you." Which even then is far too much. But give the lady an opportunity, you know. But even then, you shouldn't be getting arrested. Not for the trivial things. And then we'll pick up the newspaper and read another story about some particular immigrant who's done some really filthy, disgusting act in the middle of the street, and nothing happens. I mean, there's still not been a conviction for the young man who beat 7 shades of shit out of the police officer at Manchester Airport, broke a nose, broke a face, and you know, and I know he got stamped on and everything like that, but so he should have been. I mean, he beat shit out of that woman. I mean, I don't even think she's gone back to work properly. She's going to suffer trauma for the rest of her life. That was a beating that he gave her, and he still hasn't faced justice. Yes, he was charged. Yes, he went to court. At the moment, he's on bail. So it's just another story of somebody committing a ridiculous act. If you or me were to even knock a policeman's hat off deliberately, we're getting arrested for assault and we're going to jail. This fella beat 7 shades of shit out of a female police officer on camera at Manchester Airport, and he still hasn't gone to jail yet. Yet we've got our own people being arrested for putting a flag up, calling somebody a muppet, you know, saying silly things on TikTok or Twitter. And it's just getting worse and worse. So for me, looking at France and looking at what's happened in Nepal, you've got to look at it and say, there's your answer. There's your answer. There's an easy way of getting rid of this man. And yes, it might mean some violence and it might mean damaging some property and things like that. But you know what? It's come to the point now where sometimes you've got to break the law to make things right. And let's face it, how many laws has Keir Starmer broken, really, since he's been in office? Dozens. Dozens.
I would say Keir Starmer's broke every law in a Magna Carta, every single one of them.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He needs to be held accountable, and people need to understand, like, if you're a part of the Labour Party, you cannot look at Starmer with any kind of respect. The guy ain't got no backbone whatsoever, none, zero.
No.
He just flowers around.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what it's coming to. It's coming to this. I mean, September 13th is this weekend.
I've had all sorts of things flash up on my TikTok, both my accounts. September the 13th, new settings on TikTok, blah, blah, blah. September the 13th, British Rail Network are doing line work on that day. You know what I mean? There's going to be maintenance works. All the motorways are doing maintenance work. The bus companies are shutting down. They're trying everything they can because they know what's coming. You know, they're saying possibly 2 million. Listen, even if it's 600,000, that's a massive amount of people to all, you know, be in one place, all unhappy, all sick of the regime that's going on right now. It's a lot of unhappy, angry people. And you can guarantee, I hope it doesn't happen, but you can guarantee there's going to be some idiots in that. And they're going to, you know, they're going to overstep the mark. That's going to happen. We know that. But it's a lot of people in one place. And I'm interested to see what news coverage it gets.
I think mainstream media, they'll be concentrating on the outskirts, so the little scuffles here and there, and they get it and say right wing have kicked off again, and we'll get all that nonsense. But then you'll have the independent people like myself and a few others out there actually taking real footage about what's going on. But my message is to the government, to Starmer, make sure this goes well. Because with 2 million people in the street, possibly 2 million people in the street, you don't want it to go bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to incite any kind of riot. I don't want to see that kind of stuff. But you know what? If there's ever going to be a riot and they're ever going to stampede, Saturday's the day to do it, because there's no way they're stopping 2 million people, if that's how many people. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the Met Police to police this correctly. I mean, when you're getting off at the station and the protesters are getting marched one way and the anti-protesters are getting marched the other way, and they're supposed to be gated off from each other and blah, 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 blah. Because let's be honest, a TR protest is not about violence. He's told everyone don't wear masks and there's no kicking off and this is a day out, bring your family. And so it's going to be like a big parade, and we've got good speakers there, and it's one of them ones that are going to change history of the country, and people need to be a part of it. So the Met Police have got a massive amount of pressure on their shoulders to make sure this goes well, because if it don't, I can't imagine what 2 million people would be like if they're angry. If it all kicks off and 2 million people decide to go, that's it, I've had enough. Cool, I can't imagine what it'd do to the country. No one wants that. No. I mean, 2 million people could absolutely destroy the centre of London. Shops, supermarkets, garages, cars, buildings, the lot. I mean, I don't want to see that. But people are so angry. You know, people are, like we said this other week, people are like a coiled spring, and people are ready to just explode because they're just sick. And every single day, like we said a few minutes ago, there's another story of an immigrant, you know, committing the most heinous acts on children and on women, you know, exposing themselves in the street. There was one on the internet the other day. He's walking along the street and he's actually exposed himself just walking down the street. There's one as a guy in a hotel. There's a protest outside a hotel. He's in the window and he's relieving himself. And he's just exposed himself out the window, and people are saying to the police, look what he's doing. And the police just turn their back. They don't want to know. Are the police scared, or is this a mandate that they've been told to follow? You know, have they been told not to persecute these poor asylum seekers who, you know, really need our help? Or, you know, are they just so fucking shit at their job?
Well, no, the first one's right, Jay. The solicitor, when it comes to this Epping Hotel overturning at the court case, Labour's solicitor said these asylum seekers deserve more than English people. That they need to be treated better than English people. So this is exactly what you're seeing. No one has got any respect for us. If they're coming over on their small boats and they're getting their free accommodation, they've got no respect for us. None. They don't care who we are. They just laugh at the window when people are protesting outside. They throw stuff at them. They film them on their phones, swearing at them, and it's got no respect for us. And this is our police force allowing this to happen. This is our politicians allowing this to happen, and it's just not fair.
I mean, as we all know, I mean, anyone who follows our podcast or follows me on TikTok, everyone knows I now live in Spain. I moved to Spain because I've seen this coming, and it was for my mental health. I was struggling in the UK, so I've come here for a better life. That's still my country. But day to day, out here in Spain, I go into Spanish supermarkets, the garage. I like the Spanish way of life, so I try and embed myself in it. I try and stay away from English bars and restaurants. And I've said this before. And when I go into these places, I want to give a good impression. I go in there and, all right, I'm a big 6'5" guy covered in tattoos and a beard. But that doesn't mean to say I've got to go in there and act like a big 6'5" guy covered in tattoos and a beard. I'm polite. I like to think I like them to think of me as a nice guy. I want to give a good impression. I go into a restaurant. I want to keep the table tidy. I take my glasses back, my plates back. Please and thank you. Leave a tip. That kind of stuff. And it's not bullshit. It's just the way I am. But at the same time, I don't want these people to think of us as some kind of fucking heathens. Why can't these people do the same? I mean, they're coming into the country. We're literally giving them everything. I'm not giving anything here. I have to work and support myself. And I still want to make a good impression. So why can't these people coming into the country who are being given everything for nothing? Why would they not want us to like? Why would they not try and make themselves likable? They're not. They don't care. They don't care what we think about them.
Yeah. It changed somewhere along the line, because when we used to have expats coming to the country for work and migrants coming over, economic migrants to come over and get a job and pay tax, they come over and integrate into the country. And that's including the Muslim community. We've had Muslims in the UK for decades. Me and you, we both know Muslim people that are absolutely lovely. Yep. You know, but they come over, they integrated, they stuck to their own religion, but they integrated into the society. Something's changed over, I would say, since we got released from the lockdown to now. Something has changed where these people come here for free stuff and they don't want to integrate into our communities. They don't. They just want the free stuff and they want to change our way of life. You want to bring the old school, ancient kind of way of life into a modern day Western society, and that's all they want, and it just shows. You know, it just shows.
I mean, what I said a few minutes ago, legacy as well with Starmer. He doesn't care about his legacy. I mean, we've even got Donald Trump slagging them off. We've got Elon Musk all over X. I keep calling it Twitter. It's X now. All over X. Every single day, post after post after post after post, having a dig at the UK, having a dig at Starmer, the immigration, the lack of freedom of speech, you know, the sentences that people are getting for doing absolutely nothing. The rest of the world are laughing at us. I mean, America is, you know, the president of America is classed as the leader of the free world, okay, the most powerful man in the world. When he's laughing at you, surely you should be sitting up in your bed at night thinking, oh, maybe I'm doing a bad job, maybe I need to change my ways. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about his legacy. He's just allowing this to keep going on and on and on. And tomorrow will be another story, and the day after will be another story, and it'll keep getting worse and worse. And we'll be back here next week on our podcast talking about some other atrocity that's happened, some other person who's got away with practically murder.
Jay, the only reason we can't mention more stuff is because I haven't got my phone switched on. I mean, if I had my phone switched on and I scrolled through it, we could sit on this podcast for days on end and not stop talking about the amount of stuff that's going on in this country. I want to put something out there as well, because I'm not sure if you saw it, but Nigel Farage went over to America and faced Congress about free speech in the UK.
I haven't seen that, no. But again, I've been busy last few days. As you know, I had a busy weekend, so did you. So I didn't really get a chance to have a look at all the news. I knew he was going, but I haven't actually followed up on it.
So it was a 6-hour hearing. Farage stayed for most of it.
Yep.
He got grilled by the American panel, the senators, trying to understand whether or not they should carry on doing business with the UK because they believe in free speech and we don't have none. So Nigel was there as a witness that Starmer and his team are taking free speech away from people and taking freedoms away from people. So he was over there defending the UK, saying we're losing free speech. They're corrupt. And he really went in. So, you know,
imagine with the big butter knife laying it all on thick as well.
Yeah. And they were saying, well, what's to say? Because if these corrupt politicians in the UK are breaking our laws and persecuting our people, then they're breaking our laws. So how many should we arrest?
Yeah.
And Farage said, well, if you're going to arrest people for breaking your amendments, your First Amendment and your right for freedom, you've got to arrest all of them.
Yeah. So
I think the deal with America is going to fall short. I think if our politicians want to go to America, they need to be very careful they don't get handcuffed like we're handcuffing their people.
Yeah.
But Farage perfectly put, and if you get a chance, go and rewatch it. Go and watch it because it was absolutely amazing.
Well, I think what we'll do is through the week, as we know, we're a day late with this week's podcast for a few different reasons. But maybe we'll cover a bit of that next week. We'll show the video next week and we'll cover a little bit of it possibly, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he got grilled. He got grilled by a few senators there.
Which he will do.
He handled himself very well, but the main speaker of the Congress hearing, the main speaker, pretty much what he wanted to find out is, do we arrest UK politicians coming into our country, and do we carry on dealing with them? So,
I mean, that trade deal, when England got a good deal out of it, the UK got a good deal out of it. I mean, it'd be funny if Trump just turned around and said, we're doubling the tariff. That's your punishment, basically, for breaking all of our laws. Or we're just cancelling the deal altogether. I mean, that was one thing that Starmer was, oh, we've got a trade deal with America. We've done a wonderful thing. This is going to change our future. I'd love it if Trump just pulled the rug out. I mean, obviously, financially for the UK, it would be very, very bad. But then all that would then lead to is it just lead to people like us and the millions who are going to turn up on the weekend, having more protests, forcing him out, his own backbenchers, his own party, the Conservatives, the Lib Dems, the Reform. He'd have to leave. He'd have to because
Starmer stood in Parliament when Farage went over there, and he said, as we speak, Nigel Farage is in America throwing Great Britain under the bus.
Threw himself under the bus, really, hasn't he?
2 weeks ago, mate, you was shaking hands with Donald Trump, telling him you support free speech in the UK, and we've had it for years, and we're going to have it for years more. Yeah. You know, you've lied to him. Farage has gone over there. You should have realised this was going to happen. Donald Trump and Nigel Farage are really good friends. Yep. So you should have known this was going to happen.
And I think Donald Trump would love Farage in charge. I mean, I'm going to come to that in a minute because I've been a bit of an advocate for Farage. A lot of people are. I think people are not looking into Farage as much. I think they're just looking at the fact that it gets rid of Labour if Reform get in. I think Farage has got probably some of his own faults as well. But I think the fact of having Farage in charge, the link with him and Trump, could be one of the most monumental forward steps in history for the UK. I'm not saying Farage would be a wonderful prime minister per se, but the links with America, the trade deals that would happen, you know, the change in the UK that would happen almost overnight, really, would be monumental for the future of Great Britain. It'd be a time that people look back on in hundreds and hundreds of years and say, that's when Britain became great again, kind of thing, or that was the beginning, you know, because I've seen something the other day, and it was somebody was saying, I think it was Tommy Robinson saying, Keir Starmer needed to become Prime Minister for us to see just how bad a state the country was in. And I get what he meant for that. You know, sometimes you've got to go backwards to go forwards. We've said this a few times. So there's such a bad job he's done has helped the whole country realise just how much of a shit state that we're in. So there will be a lot of good come from this bad. But it can't get any worse. I mean, the only way it gets worse is if we have people, immigrants and British people on the streets rioting and fighting and having some kind of a war. That's only when it gets worse. And to be honest, nobody really wants to see that. But the fact that Farage has gone there and his friendship with Trump is so strong, and he's always said it in a roundabout way, could be a great thing for the UK moving forward if Farage gets in as the Prime Minister. That's one really, really plus point for me.
To be honest, I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah.
In my eyes, the way looking at politics today and looking at the polls, there's no doubt. I mean, Farage is up 15%, and he's only going to keep growing. Conservative are gone; they're off the polls, they're off the chart, and Labour are dropping maybe 6 points a day. They're gone. They're over. So I don't think there's any doubt that Farage is going to be in power. I know a lot of people are questioning Farage's his motives at the minute, but no one knows what a politician's going to do until you vote them in. Look at what just happened with Keir Starmer. So we've never had Reform. We've always had Labour or Conservative. Let's be honest, that's pretty much all we've ever had is Labour or Conservative. We have to try something new because it isn't working. So go for reform. Or a lot of people are talking about, is it Britain first? Nick, whatever his name is. To me, you can vote for them, but I think it's a wasted vote. He hasn't got the backing or the power to go through and be a party. So reform to me is the only one that kind of makes sense because he's addressing a lot of the issues that people are concerned over.
I mean, the main issue what everyone's concerned about, obviously, is immigration. All right, free speech, the price of everything, the amount people are being taxed, the cost of everything going up, the cost of living. And prices are only going up and up and up because we've got a 51 billion black hole, and every spare change we've got, we're giving to these people coming in on boats, illegally coming in the country on boats. So we're giving everything to them and taking everything away from our own people. Immigration, freedom of speech, and just the way we're treating our own people. I mean, if you're white and British right now in the UK, you're just trash. I mean, you're not trash, obviously, but in the eyes of...
You're treated trash,
You're just treated like trash, and it's wrong. I mean, fucking Maggie will be laying in a grave turning now. She will be absolutely turning in a grave because for all people, a lot of people didn't like Margaret Thatcher. She was a strong woman, and
I love Maggie Thatcher.
I was only a young kiddie. You were younger than me, but I remember Margaret Thatcher, and I remember a lot of people disliked her. But I remember, the miners' strike, the Falklands happened. I mean, my uncle was in the Falklands, and been forcing myself looking back on the history of the Falklands and how it happened. Just the way she said, "This is our land. We are going to defend our land. This is British sovereignty." And she just sent the ships over there. She sent the troops over there. The Marines did their bit, And then you've got, in the last 2 years, you've got this fucking government talking about handing the Falklands back.
And the thing is, mate, every time we give a bit of land back, we pay for it as well.
Yep.
I mean, you got Chagos Islanders now begging Yvette Cooper to give them their country back, cancel the deal and give us our country back. Because there's people I don't think people actually understand that we give the Chagos Islands away to Mauritius, right? People actually live on there.
Yeah.
So forget the people that live on that island. They clearly don't matter. Just give it away, and then we pay for it. So now people in Mauritius don't pay tax anymore.
Yeah.
None of them. They don't need to. They've got enough money because the amount of money we pay them to have that island.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But I think Farage's first job would be close the border, like Trump did. It'd be like Trump did. Close the border. There you go. Next thing, let's get the country in order. Let's start deporting these people. Let's start emptying the hotels. But I tell you what, if by any chance every hotel was closed down tomorrow, I hope and pray the British people never, ever, ever book a room or a bed and breakfast or anything in them hotels again. Whoever owns them hotels need to go out of business. I don't care whether the Hilton, I don't care whether the local bed and breakfast, I don't care. They should.
There's no way they're staying open now. And I think once these people, because Starmer's new plan is to put them into ex-army barracks, like people have been saying for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But maybe he's finally listened. He's going to put them in army barracks. It means these hotels are going to become vacant. Are you going to get business? Or are you going to, now you're about to lose your business because no one's going to come and stay with you?
Was that part of the plan? Put them into an army barracks where you can train them.
Oh, God.
It's quite terrifying to think of, isn't it?
And I don't put it past them.
Nigel
Farage gave his speech the other day and said, he pretty much stood up and said, reform are winning. This government are corrupt. You cannot trust them. And when we go into power, there not a single boat will touch our shores within 2 weeks. Promised. Within 2 weeks, not another boat will ever touch our shore again.
That's a hell of a bold statement. And I would believe him on that.
Yeah.
I would believe him on that. I mean, there was a video I saw today on X, and it was the British Border Force, and the immigrants are getting off the boat. So they've gone out, rescued them, or got them up, or whatever they've done, and they're bringing it. What? Why? Why are they not getting them on the boat, going back to France and dropping them off there? I think there's a bigger game at play here. I think we've got people over in Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, handpicking these people. I think these are being brought in by the UK. I think the government has a lot to do with it. I think they're being handpicked, cherry-picked, young men over there, young men who haven't got wives and children, young men who are single. They've got to be. They've got to be. There's got to be more at play with this than just the fact they're travelling through a dozen countries through France to come to the UK.
I totally agree with you, and I know it's time for the tinfoil hat, but this is, to me, all I see is, if you ever followed WEF, the World Economic Forum, and World Health Organization, if you ever look into her stuff, their biggest slogan is "You will own nothing and be happy about it," and then it lays out all these different ways to reduce the population into complete control, where they're all signing on, they're all in social houses, none of them work anymore. Yeah. And then they hand them all of these different things for how to live their life, how many calories you're allowed to eat, how many bags of clothes you're allowed to buy a year, and stuff like this. And these are actually happening in certain countries. Yeah. And before Starmer got into power, he sat down in front of the leader of WEF and swore that he will do what he asks. First thing he does when he comes into power, taxes the farmers, makes people protest so we can introduce martial law, so protesting becomes illegal, make people poor so they all have to go sign on. And it just, to me, it's all clicking into place that there's a bigger picture out there, and we're being focused so much on a little small situation, and we ain't going to see the big one coming.
It is scary. I mean, there's a lot in the news lately about Poland, isn't there? A lot of people are now focusing on Poland and how they got rid of them. There's not one single person allowed in. Now, the Polish are quite proud they're letting over 2 million Ukrainians. Fair enough, yeah. Proper, refugees, people whose homes have been blown up, women, children, men. But these people have been integrated in society. They're working or they're actually, contributing to Poland. The Polish will have there's no Muslims allowed in Poland anymore. None whatsoever. And people who were talking to, I think it was the Secretary of State or something, there's an interview out there, and they're saying, are you racist? He went, call me what you want. I don't care what you want to call me, but we are a Muslim-free state and we're happy about it and we're not going to change it. So we don't care what you call us. Our country is in a good state right now. Have you noticed all the Polish people who were living in the UK have all gone back to Poland?
Yeah. I mean, they've done it right. So what the Polish Prime Minister says is, you're welcome into our country as long as you follow our culture. If you've got the same religious background and you're a similar cultural background, then you can integrate. If you haven't, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Because you will not be able to fit into our culture. You're wanting to change to your culture, and that's not going to happen in my country. And it went so far as that he went for a meeting at the EU summit, and he come out of the summit, ripped an EU flag off the wall, chucked on the floor, stamped on it, and went home. The Polish Prime Minister is an absolute legend in my eyes.
Right.
He cares about his country. He will help people that are close to his culture. But if you're going to upset the balance of his land, you're not allowed in. What's wrong with that?
And when you look at people in the UK. I mean, I have people who I chat to all the time. They go, "Oh, I'd love to leave. I'd love to come and move to Spain or move to another place." And I say, "Do it, do it." And if you're looking for a place to go, Poland. If you're a Christian person, and you want to change your way of life, and you can afford to do it, don't look any further than Poland. Spain's starting to have a problem here with Muslims, but one of the villages not far from us recently was all over the news. They've protested against it. Now it's spreading north. The protests are spreading north. So the world is starting to catch on. Countries are catching on. France are doing it. Denmark are now starting to kick off. The Swedes are starting to kick off. The Germans are now, protesting all over the place. It is happening. It is a knock-on effect. It is a snowball effect. And the only way to get your country back to where it was, you've got to get rid of these people. And it's nothing to do with colour of skin. I've said this many, many times. I'm not a racist person. And I certainly don't fear Islam. It's not a phobia, so you can call me Islamophobic all you want. But what I do fear is what's going to happen to the country and other countries around Europe if something doesn't happen fast. And when I say happen fast, it either means toppling the heads of state and getting rid of them and putting people in power who are going to change things quickly. Like you say, Farage is going to stop the boats within 2 weeks. That's what you want to hear and that's what you want to see. And if that can't be done, then it's going to have to be done by a drastic measure. And that means people living in these countries are going to riot. and they're going to riot in large numbers in the hundreds of thousands every night in major cities all over the place, and the country will not be able to cope with that, and that's not what anybody wants to see, because innocent people are going to be hurt, possibly die. People will go out of business because the business will be destroyed. Nobody wants to see that. So the only way it can be done properly is by these heads of state now looking at what's happening in their countries with these protests, especially the one coming on Saturday, looking and going, this isn't right. We shouldn't have millions of people marching on London on a Saturday afternoon because they're so miserable. Do you know what I'm saying? So these heads of these states have got to look at this and go, we've got to do something, like Poland. And I don't care what the outside say looking in. You're racist, you're far right, you're this, that, and the other. Who gives a shit if you're looking after your own people and putting your country right? And that is what Poland have done. And like you say, the Prime Minister of Poland, what a guy. What a guy.
Yeah. And it's all going to follow suit, Jay. You're looking at what's going on at the moment, and if you've got countries falling and their government collapsing because of what the government are doing, corruption, immigration, and these countries now are falling. It's only conceivable to say that's happening to us right now. So if you're looking at France and how it's collapsing, if you're looking at Nepal, if you're looking at Germany, if you're looking at Spain, not Spain, Italy, they had that massive protest over there.
Yeah.
You look at all these countries, they're going through the same stuff as us. So it's only inevitable that that's going to happen if somebody don't step in to change it now. And we're so close, we're teetering on the edge.
Do you think this is going to be the fall of the EU?
Yeah.
Because nobody trusts them, do they? I mean, when you think about it, for years, we were governed by the EU and we had to follow by their laws. We had to do this, we had to do that. Obviously, Brexit happened. Nothing's fucking changed, to be honest. I mean, nothing has changed whatsoever. We've got more immigration when apparently we were going to control our own borders. We didn't have to take in so many a year like the EU stipulated. You look at Germany, like you say, France, Holland, Denmark, the Scandinavian countries, Italy, Spain, it's happening here. I mean, all these countries part of the EU, they're all going the same way. So trust in the EU has got to be at an all-time low.
Yeah. It's bad.
Are we going to have Germany leave the EU? We're going to have Italy, Spain, all these countries going to follow suit. It's going to be the breakdown of the EU. And then what will happen then is you'll have countries doing their own trade deals, bidding wars almost, for goods, import, export. And, maybe that's the way it should go. Why should Brussels control how much import Italy can have and how much the UK can have and how much Spain can have? Why shouldn't these, like a business, why shouldn't it be able to tender for business? Why shouldn't it be able to put in bids for, for goods?
The head of EU, Brussels, von der Leyen, is it? She's just an horrible woman. She's pure evil. She's evil incarnate, that woman.
Yeah.
Absolute.
Yeah. Mate, we've covered a lot there.
Yeah.
Did you see the painting of Banksy?
Yeah.
Tyranny. It was a painting about tyranny. And what happened? They covered it up and put 2 policemen in front of it so nobody could see it.
There's no, that's what I mean. There's no freedom of expression out there. None. Yeah. I mean, Banksy does a bit of art on a wall. They normally block that wall off so no one can remove that art. It becomes art. It becomes famous. He does one about the situation going on in our country. Cover it up. It's illegal. Yeah. Why is it?
Yeah.
It's freedom of expression. It's art. That's what art is. Freedom of expression.
It's brilliant though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. It
really is. Yeah.
I mean, it's an exaggeration in a sense of a judge beating a protester, because at the end of the day, it's the man in the black cap, the judge, who's meting out these punishments for people who are protesting, So it's such an iconic painting now.
Yeah.
It's such an iconic painting. It really, I put a post on yesterday about it, and it's probably my best post I've had, really. It's 30-odd thousand views, which is, for me, for the last few weeks, is phenomenal, because I'm lucky if I'm getting 300 views on any post I put on. we're being censored everywhere we go. I'm on the verge of having another TikTok account shut down, all because yesterday I put on a post of Rick Mail. He's playing Jenga with somebody, and he says, take all the blocks out of one side and show me what happens. And obviously it topples over. And he says, so if that's how a building topples over, why did the Twin Towers go down like that? He said, and okay, let's miraculously presume one building can collapse in on itself, but to have it happen again 45 minutes later, and he's basically using Jenga to explain it. And I put this on TikTok. I received another strike, and I'm now on an official ban warning. So in the next few days, I expect my account to go for putting something as simple as that on. So I'm a bit pissed off this week with social media. I'm at the point where, not so much what we do here, but things like TikTok and things like that. I'm at the point now where I just felt like giving it 2 fingers and saying, do you know what? I can't be arsed anymore. But then I'm letting it beat me. Do you know? Then I'm letting it beat me, and I'm like, no, I won't.
There's certain things it just will not let you mention.
Yep.
I put a post out about WEF and WHO.
Yeah.
It was a silly post as well. I had a colander on my head, and I'd done this post.
I seen it.
I got a message on saying you're not allowed to post about these companies, these government bodies. You're not allowed to post about them. Remove my post. Wait, I had a colander on my head. How offensive could I have seemed?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I mean, it looked funny. You just had this silly colander on your head, and you were just sitting there. You look like something. I remember Button Moon years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just funny. But you can't mock anything serious. You can't. There's so many things. I mean, you have to say TR, because if you say his name, it triggers some kind of algorithm, and all of a sudden, you're getting flagged, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. It is ridiculous. But going back to what you said, he's made dozens and dozens of posts. Did you hear my parrot going nuts, by the way? You'll hear it swear in a minute. He's doing dozens and dozens of posts saying to people, do not lose your cool. Don't play into their hands. And I hope people heed that. We know there's going to be some idiots. We know some things are going to kick off. We hope and pray they don't. We hope that this protest on Saturday goes so peacefully, but everyone gets the message across. I mean, there's going to be a lot of famous people there. I think Lucy Connolly's going to be there. You're going to have the usual suspects there. I'd like to see Farage turn up.
No.
You not think?
No, not a chance. No way.
You're not thinking?
He distanced himself from Tommy Robinson because obviously he's a politician and he wants to win.
Yeah.
So he has to, I know people are upset by it, but it makes sense. You've got to distance yourself from a man that's causing so much issues in the UK and bringing out all these truths. He has to. He's a politician. He wants to win. He wants votes. That's the game he has to play.
You're interested to see who goes there, though. There's going to be a lot of people influential people,
Yeah.
Katie Hopkins, I would expect to be there.
Oh, she will be there. She's good friends with TR. The person I'm most excited to see is Jordan Peterson and his wife. They're going there to talk, and I just absolutely love Jordan Peterson. Everything he does.
He is a great guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But mate, highlights of today. We've spoken about the cabinet reshuffle. David Lammy now as the deputy PM. Reeves, she's been promoted, and my friend, I like to call her Shamima Begum. My name's Shabana Mahmood, but she's now our Home Secretary controlling the borders, and I just think these are very worrying times. Very worrying times.
Yeah.
Really worrying times. Anything else you want to say?
No, but people watching this, if you are going to arrive Saturday, I'm going to be there. You'll see me running around the crowd getting interviews, but you'll see me there. But if you do turn up, keep safe, keep in the middle of the crowd, and keep your hands to yourself. Enjoy the day.
And I know you're going to try and go live at some point. We originally planned for me to go live or join in, but I'm actually busy. I'm actually playing football Saturday in a huge tournament out here in Spain. So what a day to do it. I'm a bit gutted. I love my football, but I would love to have been able to just, see. I mean, I will have spaces in between. I will maybe join you for 10 minutes or something if you're live, I will probably join you at some point just for 5 or 10 minutes. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, like Jason says, I just want to give the same message. keep your hands to yourself. Don't be silly. You know, use your voices and not your fists. Don't use your anger. Use your passion. You know, you can show passion without crossing over the line. You know, listen to what TR's saying to you. Listen to what everyone else is saying to you. Your message will be heard so much louder if you behave yourself. You know, it's going to be a momentous day for so many reasons, and let's hope that this is going to be the beginning of the end for that arsehole in number 10.
Yeah,
you know,
agreed.
But guys, we're at the end of our episode 10. We're coming up to an hour now, and it's been great. Jason, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Guys, do the usual, 10. You know, like, subscribe, get the comments in. You know, follow us on YouTube. Please follow us both on TikTok. Jason's the Patriotic Photographer. I'm the Truth Coalition. On YouTube, we are at the Truth Coalition. Follow us on every platform you find us on. Give us a comment, give us a shout, give us a wave, you know, and if we can, we'll give you a shout out on here as well. Just wanted to mention, you know, what do you think about the new software? Looking a bit snazzy now, mate, aren't we? We're getting a bit posh.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Green screen's next, I think.
Yeah. And some merch soon, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd just like to say thank you, everybody. It's been great. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure with you, mate. It's always a pleasure when we get on in, just two old farts just chatting, putting the world to rights. And thank you very much. Don't forget, like I say, like, subscribe, and please get your comments in the comments on YouTube, guys. Jason, anything you want to say?
No, just have a good weekend. Be safe.
See you later, guys. Thank you very much.
We watched the house with broken glass, red ties, blue lights, same old mass. Tories trading truth for gold, label folded, stories sold. They made their millions, made us pay. Gaslit nights, cost of living days. Hands in pockets, hands in bribes. While we bury dreams and scrape to survive. We see your rules for the rich, your friends, your deals, your offshore ships. We ain't blind, we've had enough. You lit the match, now feel the rush. The people